do white people adopt black children? It's a real question for me.
I got a question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted?
Another day, another issue on the streets. What is going on? You guys, today's video is a very interesting one, and this is titled Black People Abandon Children, Then Get Mad When a White Guy Adopts Them. What do we want? What is the problem? What exactly is the problem? You guys, let's check this out.
I waited a week for this, and the only reason I waited a week is because you can't really go and have a reaction based on one thing. You gotta marinate.
Shout out to
You
Real
gotta wait
Leon.
for all the stink to get on all the proper meats so that can be nice and tender.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I got. Cliff Notes time.
Okay.
A UFC fighter decided it'd be a great idea to expand his family, and he adopted a bunch of kids, black kids. And when asked about it, he said this.
Okay.
I'm not raising black children. I'm raising children.
Yes, sir.
I'm not raising black men. I'm raising men.
That's exactly what we
And whether
need.
you are black or you are white, no matter what race that you are, there are certain things about being a man and being a good man when it comes to character and integrity and safeguarding the helpless and sticking up for those who need it and being a good man of reputation. None of that has to do with skin color.
And of course,
Yes, sir. I totally agree with you. Yes. Why do we always have this issue? Why? You are asking the wrong question. You are asking the wrong question. Why is he adopting a black kid? You are asking the wrong question. What you should be asking is who puts these children up for adoption? It wasn't white parents. I mean, you're asking the wrong question. So go to the roots. Like, let us tackle this from the roots and not up there. What is you guys? Please, as usual, the comment section is open. Let's go. The video starts right there.
when you are someone who is not black doing anything that would be viewed as positive that involves the black youth, a bunch of the for the people individuals get very upset, and it produced a lot of opinions that really should make a lot of sense to people who want to pull up statistics from back when Jim Crow was king, but now it's just about a motherfucker choosing to do or not do.
Why do white people adopt black children? It's a real question for me. Why do white people adopt black children and then say things like, I'm not raising black children, I'm raising children?
What should they do?
Who are you?
What should they do?
This is UFC fighter Michael Chandler, and this is his wife. They've adopted 2 black children. He recently did an interview where he stated he's not raising black children. He's raising children. And while I understand that he thinks that he means well by creating this piece of, I don't see color, let me tell you why that's a problem.
Why? Go ahead.
Even though you claim that you and your wife don't see color, the world does. This is America. And so when those children look at you, there's going to be, this can be problematic because it ignores the racial and cultural identity of the child. By not acknowledging the child's racial background, you're going to inadvertently neglect certain aspects of their identity, which is black. You're going to neglect their experiences. You're going to neglect what they may go through when they get out in the real world because they will not be treated like you. So
Okay, this is, I don't know if our name is Hogan, but this is from the TikTok, page Hogan. Now I have a question. You've listed all of the possible things that could go wrong, right? How about you start about the things that could go right? And let's also see this. What should they do? So what happens to all of the black kids who are out there and they're up for adoption? What happens to them? What happens to them if other black parents aren't, capable at that time, to adopt more black children? So what should happen now? So meaning when I want to, look for, Meaning, if I wanted to adopt, right, I should look for just my color. In this day and age, when right now we are like, we are one. Now, help me understand this. Help me understand this. So what should happen now to all of the children who would have been placed in beautiful, amazing homes? What should have happened? What will happen to all of the black kids? Yo,
When you say that you're not raising black children, you're only raising children, how are you going to explain to them when they get treated different in the schools that you put them in? When they get treated different out in society? When they get treated different in the workplace? How are you going to explain that to them? Is race going to come up then? Another reason why I don't understand why white people adopt black children is because a lot of times white people are not around a lot of black people, right? And so you're only going to have these black children around other white people. And I'm just assuming here, I don't know him personally, but I'm just saying for the most part, whenever we see white celebrities adopt black children, they have them within their group of friends, right? All white people. When they're not just, even though you're raising them, you want to expose them to their own culture. Do you have any black friends? Is there any type of cultural significance you can give these children? Any shows, any areas, any schools, anything to show them somebody who looks like them and not just like you? When these children grow up, or what we see most of the time, when these children end up growing up, they feel lost in the world and they don't know where they fit in. Because on one side of the spectrum, you really don't fit in with the black population because you've been raised as white, even though you are black. Then on the other side of the spectrum, you're around all these white people and they don't 100% accept you because at the end of the day, you're black. So with all of these complexities, why would you not acknowledge or raise your children as black children to prepare them the best that you can in the world? This I don't see color mentality does more harm than good. Because while you claim you don't see color, we know you do. And that's not a bad thing. That's not to say that anybody's racist or anything like that. But when people claim that they don't see color, you do. Because you're not blind. Everybody sees color. I'm looking at this picture right here and I see a white wife and a white husband and black children. So everybody sees color. And guess what? When they go out in the world is also going to see color. So I hope all the backlash that you've been getting for that interview that you did will enlighten you and your wife a little bit to open up your mind and give these children the best upbringing, because we know monetarily you can. We know monetarily you're going to give them the best life that they can have. They're probably going to go to the best schools, best food, best area. That's all fine and dandy. But make sure you don't slip on that mental health. Because by raising them as not black children is going to psychologically mess them up.
I got a question. Why are there so
okay. She's made a point. She's some of those points are really, really valid. And I'm sure that before they went ahead to do this adoption, they must have kept things in place. They must have kept things in place, right? To help the children better. She's raised some good points there. Yes, she's raised some good points there. What's your own opinion about this? All right, let's hear this.
many black children that need to be adopted? My second question is, why do you care who adopts them and what color they are as long as they love that child and raise them right? And lastly, I see color. But when I see a little baby, I don't go, oh, look at that little white baby or look at that little black baby. These are babies. They haven't been filled with ignorance yet. Let them babies be babies and grow up to be good people.
Because of white people.
Okay.
And white saviorism. The child welfare industry in the United States is built off of systemic oppression. Our own government recognizes that racism and bias plays a huge role in why there are so
Everyone
many black
is
and
given.
indigenous children in the system.
You can't sit here and
Oof.
articulate a point that a lot of people would tend to understand with a bunch of your bigoted nature about another skin color. I could understand statistics and how individuals are predominantly in the center of a certain issue, but my response to the here and now is what will propel a bunch of motherfuckers with this skin color to say, let's change that a little bit. And I can even understand the want to have children who are black understand the world outside of family values of what's being taught to them.
Of
Because
course.
you can teach a child all these things under the sun, but once they go outside and experience life, some things can be a little bit different. So I can
Of course, that's what I said. So that's why I said she raised some valid points. She did.
talk with you a little bit on that. I just have a unique problem with a bunch of people seemingly upset at a white guy adopting black children, and their response is to bitch, moan, groan, complain, and do anything else other than, oh, I don't know, adopt those black children so that you could grow up with them and teach them all the things about how the cops are going to hunt them down as soon as they step one Reebok out the fucking door. But you know what? With stupidity creates the ultimate opportunity. And I am glad that I now realize more and more that my seed of common sense has been inseminated across the world because, of course, people saw this dumbass reaction, and of course, people saw the dumbass reactions to the dumbass reaction, and they decided to provide a little bit of perspective that a lot of you, for the people individuals, seemingly don't want to understand. And yes, it came from black people.
Because you keep throwing them away. Maybe if black mothers would stop having random children with random men without being married and having a family to keep that child in, there wouldn't be so many black children to adopt. Also, while you're on the internet running your mouth, how many children can you adopt? Probably zero, because you don't qualify, because you have to have a family. You have to be financially sound. See, this is how the process works. First, they reach out to the immediate family, any blood relatives, and try to get somebody to take that child. That didn't work. Then they try to find a child with a family they can connect with, same race. That didn't work. And they had no choice but to put the child with a white tea family who was willing to take the child. So instead of asking why are white tea people adopting black people, why don't you ask, why are there so many black children up for adoption? Aren't y'all the most educated? Aren't y'all making the most money that any other group of black women have ever made? So why aren't you adopting black babies?
So the person who stitched this, his response to this original video was, dang, he ate her up. Like, are we not going to say anything? Are we not going to respond?
Okay.
And I have a response, but it's more questions for the original creator. So here they go.
Okay.
Question number 1. Why do we actively attack people who are willing and wanting to take in a child? Any child, doesn't matter what their race is, a child who is in need of a home. I'm not sure if people understand the foster care system and how it works, but if a child does not get adopted and they're in the foster care system, they stay there until they turn 18. And then after 18, they're out on their own. No family, no backup plan, nothing. They're literally out on the streets to fend for themselves. So why? Why would we want a child to stay in foster care because the family is not black or the same race as them that wants to adopt them? Why is it so bad to have a child live with, be with a part of a family that wants them?
Remember, that's one of the things I said in the beginning. Let's go back to the roots. Let's go back to the roots. So what happened now, right? I love that this is happening. You know, a lot of people are giving in their 2 cents. I just did. And you can also give yours like usual. Let us also be respectful in the comment section.
Second question is, Why is it now that there are so many children in the Black community that need homes? Why isn't the Black community actively helping these families before they end up in foster care? Back in the day, grandma, auntie, and all of them would take these kids in. If they knew mama wasn't doing right, they were going to do everything they needed to do. Foster care actually reaches out to everybody they can. They ask mom, they ask dad, they ask anybody, do you have a kinship care that you would prefer over foster care? Because hey, now I can't talk about people that are adopting kids from overseas, but that is not my business. I'm talking about here in the US. Third thing is, what are you doing? What are you doing to be an active participant in the foster care system to get these children who need Black families and help them out? Be that person that they could have as like that liaison. Be that family that's like, you know what? I think I can be a foster parent. Let me welcome these kids in. Because quite frankly, there's not enough of us out there that are actively participating in the foster care system and that are welcoming children into our homes. I have been a licensed foster care parent for about 4 years now. And in our community, I probably have seen one person of color out of all of these people who are willing to take children into their home. And I have only had one Black child come into my house, which is a blessing, which means people in this community are stepping up when need. That's what that means. That when they are needed, they are stepping up and taking these kids into their homes. I don't care what color a child is. When they come into my home, they are my child, and I'm going to take care of them until I send them back. My son is not Black, but I adopted him. Why? Because I had that child in my house for over a year and a half and had him since he was 6 weeks old, and I was the only mother he knew. And just because he's not Black does not mean that I could not be his mom. Matter of fact, I feel like I birthed that baby. So let's be active participants in the solution and not attack people for wanting to help with a problem.
You can have a lot of individuals out here in the world deciding that a kid is too much of a financial risk and they don't want to deal with it and they're not responsible enough. And yes, the correct course of action is don't have sex, but let's be honest, we're all horny. So the better response is please get some birth control. Please wear some condoms. Please get a vasectomy. Because if you don't really want kids, you should be doing everything necessary to not have them and still have sex. Because yes, it's possible. I don't know why you motherfuckers want to have arguments about who should be doing what. You all could fucking do it if you truly don't want kids, but that's besides the point. You can't sit here and get mad at other people for filling in the responsibility of a parent in which the original parents didn't want to fucking fulfill because of their ignorance, arrogance, selfishness, or overall their financial responsibility. It's embarrassing that motherfuckers want to act as if that's the case. It's embarrassing that motherfuckers want to think piece their way into that being the case. And it's a little bit pissing me off that people will sit there and hear that and say slay queen as if that's somehow going to make the situation better. And if you just so happen to have this skin color and you somehow find your way mad at me for saying motherfuckers should either not fuck with responsibility, or be men and women and take care of the responsibility of fucking, which is children, then guess what? Take your ass to the fucking adoption center, go through the process of trying to adopt as many Black children as you can and raise a family. How about that, instead of whining, moaning, and groaning about the white guy having more balls and being more of an adult than the rest of us? And if you just so happen to still be mad, yet you enjoy my voice and my skin color, subscribe to the channel, because I want to know, is the white guy out of line for trying to raise children in the here and now? Are we all supposed to somehow understand that no matter how much we live this world, it's always going to be the white guy's fault? I know that's the answer. And overall, how many of you motherfuckers are actually going to go to the adoption center? I know I'm not, because I like my semen where I can see it, and I will be dealing with children my own type of way, yelling at them to get off of my property. Goodbye.
Oh my God. Thank you, Leon, for that. Oh my God, you guys, this is a very interesting topic. It is one that, as a matter of fact, you know, I opened TikTok the other day and I just saw it everywhere and I'm like, what is it? What is the issue again? What what is it again? Well, you guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this?